throughout the championship campaign, where unpredictability has become the defining characteristic of the grid. Red Bull Racing has once again sent shockwaves through the Formula One paddock, pushing back their crucial driver lineup announcement for the 2026 season. What the entire motorsport community anticipated would be a definitive weekend conclusion in Mexico City has instead morphed into another nerve-wracking cliffhanger, leaving enthusiasts, journalists, and the drivers themselves speculating wildly about the internal machinations within the Milton Keynes outfit. 3 coveted race seats remain officially unconfirmed across the Red Bull Racing ecosystem. One crucial position alongside reigning world champion Max Verstappen at the flagship operation, and 2 highly competitive drives at their sister outfit Racing Bulls. Throughout recent months, the intense spotlight has illuminated Yuki Tsunoda, Isack Hadjar, and Liam Lawson, each battling not merely for a race seat, but fundamentally for their continued existence in the pinnacle of motorsport. However, with Arvid Lindblad ascending rapidly through the junior categories and Red Bull Racing postponing their pivotal decision, the entire driver configuration could transform in ways that nobody in the paddock currently anticipates. Before we explore the complete narrative unfolding behind closed doors, make certain to hit that subscribe button. Because what you're about to discover isn't simply another silly season speculation piece. This represents a calculated power maneuver that possesses the potential to fundamentally restructure Red Bull's comprehensive future trajectory in Formula One competition. The widespread uncertainty surrounding Red Bull Racing's second cockpit has evolved into one of the most captivating storylines dominating the 2025 Formula One Championship. A complex saga brimming with raw ambition, internal politics, and the unrelenting pressure characteristic of motorsport's most demanding team environment. What initially commenced as a straightforward performance-based assessment has transformed into a sophisticated multidimensional power struggle that could ultimately determine the professional destinies of 3 exceptionally talented drivers: Yuki Tsunoda, Isack Hadjar, and Liam Lawson. While prodigious teenage sensation Arvid Lindblad patiently waits in the developmental pipeline, Red Bull's original strategic blueprint appeared crystal clear on paper. Helmut Marko, the team's legendary motorsport advisor, definitively confirmed that the organization would render its final verdict immediately following the Mexican Grand Prix. Utilizing the post-Japan race sequence as the decisive evaluation period to assess each contender's readiness for the regulation revolution arriving in 2026. Yet as the championship gradually unfolded across the calendar, the situation only intensified in complexity and confusion. Rather than issuing a straightforward announcement as promised, Red Bull Racing dramatically delayed everything, strategically opting to extend their evaluation process until the absolute conclusion of the 2025 campaign. The official justification? The team leadership believes additional time remains necessary to comprehensively evaluate all available options within their driver pool. However, numerous well-connected paddock insiders interpret this postponement as unmistakable evidence of significant internal disagreement. Essentially, a strategic tug-of-war between prioritizing proven experience, embracing youthful potential, and formulating long-term organizational strategy. At the absolute epicenter of this developing situation lies the coveted seat positioned directly alongside Max Verstappen. A cockpit that has systematically destroyed more professional careers than it has successfully elevated. Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, and most recently Sergio Perez all ultimately fell victim to the crushing expectations and psychological warfare inherent in competing alongside one of this generation's most exceptional talents. Consequently, the decision to fill that particular seat transcends simple lap time comparisons. It fundamentally concerns identifying which driver possesses the mental fortitude and emotional resilience to not merely survive, but potentially thrive, operating perpetually in Verstappen's overwhelming shadow. Yuki Tsunoda, after enduring 5 demanding seasons operating under the Red Bull Racing banner, is finally demonstrating unmistakable signs suggesting he might genuinely be prepared for promotion. His on-track performances throughout the second half of the championship have been quietly yet consistently impressive, delivering a sustained string of valuable points finishes. showcasing significantly improved qualifying pace and exhibiting an increasingly composed and mature demeanor both inside the cockpit and during media interactions. The strategic appointment of Laurent Mekies as Racing Bull's team principal has undeniably made a substantial positive difference in Tsunoda's development trajectory. Unlike the controversial Christian Horner era, which frequently placed disproportionate blame squarely on the shoulders of second drivers when results disappointed, Mekies has deliberately concentrated on constructing a supportive environment specifically designed to help both drivers maximize their potential. Tsunoda has benefited enormously from this philosophical transformation, particularly through increased simulator time allocation and car setup configurations that better complement his characteristically aggressive yet precision-focused driving style. However, any comprehensive discussion regarding Red Bull's immediate future must inevitably address Isack Hadjar, the supremely talented French rookie who has emerged as perhaps the biggest positive surprise throughout the 2025 season. Very few motorsport analysts genuinely expected Hadjar to adapt with such remarkable speed to Formula One's brutal demands. Yet remarkably, he has exceeded virtually all expectations. An impressive podium finish at the legendary Zandvoort circuit, 8 hard-fought points finishes across diverse circuits, and a solid top 10 championship position have collectively established him as arguably the most impressive newcomer witnessed in recent years. His qualifying statistics prove particularly noteworthy. 12 Q3 advancement appearances, merely 2 disappointing Q1 eliminations, and a consistency level that numerous experienced veterans would genuinely envy. Helmut Marko reportedly envisions Hadjar as a legitimate long-term successor to Verstappen, a potential future world champion if nurtured and developed appropriately through the correct pathway. But therein exists the fundamental strategic dilemma confronting Red Bull's decision-makers. Promoting Hadjar prematurely into such an unforgiving environment could spectacularly backfire with devastating consequences. The historically treacherous second Red Bull Racing seat possesses a notorious reputation for systematically crushing driver confidence, particularly affecting inexperienced competitors lacking extensive Grand Prix experience. Since that disappointing performance, his market value has plummeted dramatically within the organization's internal rankings. The simultaneous emergence of both Hadjar and Lindblad as legitimate prospects has effectively squeezed Lawson completely out of Red Bull's long-term strategic plans. Unless something entirely unexpected transpires during the remaining championship rounds. Speaking specifically of Lindblad, the British teenager's highly anticipated FP1 appearance throughout the Mexico City weekend generated significant attention across the entire paddock. Demonstrating smoothness, remaining error-free, and displaying remarkable composure under immense pressure, Lindblad successfully completed the practice session posting faster times than Tsunoda. Admittedly, favorable circumstances assisted his performance. Fresh, soft compound tires, clean atmospheric conditions. Yet the supreme confidence he exhibited genuinely impressed Marko at a profound level. His debut Formula 2 championship campaign has admittedly proven somewhat inconsistent across various circuits, but his raw potential remains absolutely undeniable to experienced observers. Red Bull Racing clearly perceives him as their direct organizational answer to Mercedes' highly rated Kimi Antonelli, a generational prospect they simply cannot afford to lose to rival organizations under any circumstances. Meanwhile, Red Bull Racing maintains focus on the comprehensive bigger picture, specifically the monumental 2026 regulation reset arriving imminently. Whoever ultimately partners Verstappen throughout that transitional period must not only demonstrate raw speed capabilities, but also possess sharp technical acumen and analytical skills. They require someone capable of genuinely assisting in developing an entirely revolutionary car concept from scratch. That's where Tsunoda's extensive organizational experience could prove absolutely decisive during discussions. He intimately understands Red Bull's operational systems, established communication protocols, and comprehensive technical infrastructure inside out. throughout a year dominated by fundamental transition and adaptation. That institutional stability and familiarity could genuinely prove more valuable than pure qualifying pace alone. Nevertheless, Red Bull Racing has historically built its legendary reputation upon making characteristically bold, sometimes controversial decisions. Promoting Verstappen at merely 17 years old represented an enormous calculated gamble that permanently transformed Formula One's competitive landscape forever. Promoting Hadjar could represent another substantial risk genuinely worth accepting if team leadership truly believes his talent ceiling justifies the potential downside. Yet the team's recent cautious approach under Mekies' leadership philosophy strongly suggests they'll ultimately favor patience and methodical development this particular time around. The most statistically likely scenario emerging from all available evidence? Tsunoda remains at Red Bull Racing throughout 2026 to provide stability and experience. Hadjar stays at RB for additional maturation and skill development. Lindblad systematically replaces Lawson in the junior team. And the critical second Red Bull Racing seat maintains consistency and predictability. So what's your personal take on this developing situation? Should Red Bull Racing adopt the conservative approach and appropriately reward Tsunoda's unwavering loyalty and consistent improvement? Or should they embrace calculated risk and unleash Isack Hadjar's undeniable potential directly alongside Max Verstappen? Share your honest thoughts and predictions down in the comments section below. And absolutely don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our upcoming exclusive Formula One coverage and breaking news updates.